The Legislative Council votes down same-sex partnerships bill, the first government proposal vetoed in this legislative term. The city's health chief emphasizes on the safety of the Sinovac flu jab, while advises pregnant women to consult doctors before vaccination. And Poland shoots down Russian drones over its airspace amid attacks on Ukraine, calling it act of aggression. Good evening, you're watching Cable News. I'm Evelyn Bai. Hong Kong's legislature has overwhelmingly rejected a bill recognizing same-sex partnerships proposed by the government following a court ruling 2 years ago. Constitutional Affairs Chief brushed off concerns about the rule of law and said they would discuss the next steps with justice officials. Jimmy Liu has the story.
我宣布議案被否決。
At second reading, the bill was turned down by 71 lawmakers, or over 80%, marking the first failed passage this legislative term. Only 14 legislators supported the bill, including executive councillors siding with the government, while one abstained.
今日嘅條例一旦通過，係等於中門大開。
Holding conservative views, Holden Chow strongly opposed the bill, calling it a de facto recognition of same-sex marriage in Hong Kong. Kingsley Wong warned it would justify same-sex relationships among young people and erode traditional Chinese values. Among the few who supported the bill was Regina Ip. She said the endorsing votes were necessary to represent Hong Kong as an inclusive city. Paul Tse said lawmakers must respect the rule of law and court rulings with their actions. Speaking after the vote, Constitutional Affairs Secretary Eric Tsang reiterated the government's full respect towards the rule of law and the court ruling.
The drafting of the bill, introduction of the bill, and also all the explanatory and lobbying work that we have done to solicit support from the Legislative Council as well as the public, you can see that we have tried our best.
Citing the issue's sensitivity and controversy, Tsang ruled out seeking a court extension and will consult the Department of Justice on what comes next. The government proposed a system to legally recognize same-sex couples following a landmark ruling in 2023 by the Court of Final Appeal. The court gave officials 2 years, with the deadline set for this October, to come up with a framework, but kept the definition of marriage in the city as between a man and a woman. Jamie Liu, Cable News.
Secretary for Health Lo Chong-mao said the Sinovac flu vaccine is an inactivated vaccine, which is generally safe for pregnant women and their babies, despite lacking specific clinical trial data. Medical experts advise pregnant women to stick with previously used vaccine brands if they have concerns. Shiro Yun reports.
Starting September 25th, Hong Kongers can get vaccinated under the government's seasonal influenza vaccination program, which now includes the mainland-made Sinovac inactivated vaccine. Lo emphasized that inactivated vaccines are safe for pregnant women, given the well-established safety of inactivated vaccine technology used worldwide for over 50 years and Hong Kong's rigorous vaccine registration standards. However, he added that pregnant women can consult their doctors and opt for other inactivated vaccines in the program, such as the one from French manufacturer Sanofi, which has data supporting safe use at all stages of pregnancy. Lo also highlighted the importance of diversified procurement to ensure a stable vaccine supply. Zhang Keiyan, co-chairman of the Medical Association, advised pregnant women who remain hesitant to choose vaccines they have previously taken without issues. Meanwhile, around 2,300 schools have participated in the seasonal influenza vaccination school outreach program this year. The Department of Health stated that vaccines will be distributed on a first-in, first-out basis to ensure efficient allocation. Schools can choose between a nasal spray live attenuated vaccine or 2 injectable inactivated vaccines, but are not allowed to select a specific brand. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
The 10th edition of the Belt and Road Summit opened with Chief Executive John Lee reaffirming Hong Kong's role as the ideal Belt and Road hub and premier gateway for global cooperation. The SAR also signed 9 memorandums of understanding and cooperation agreements with Belt and Road countries. Cheryl Yun again has the story.
What a joy to have friends coming from afar.
The 2-day summit in Hong Kong Convention and Exhibition Centre began with a warm welcome from Lee, extended to over 6,000 leaders and guests from governments, businesses and organizations worldwide. Lee highlighted that Hong Kong's external trade with Belt and Road countries soared to over $276 billion last year, an 80% surge since 2013. He underscored the city's unique position as a superconnector and super value adder, eager to foster investment and global connections.
Hong Kong is the ideal Belt and Road hub. As the only world city that converges both the China advantage and the global advantage, Hong Kong stands as the premier gateway for cooperation, bridging people, trade, business, education, culture and values across the region, connecting Asia and the world.
The city's leader also highlighted Hong Kong's competitiveness, noting its rise to 4th place in the latest World Talent Ranking. The summit then saw the exchange of 9 memorandums between the SAR and Belt and Road countries, covering dispute resolution, anti-corruption, investment promotion and more. At the keynote luncheon, Financial Secretary Paul Chan emphasized Hong Kong's role as a global hub for green technology and finance.
Hong Kong stands ready to collaborate with regional and global partners to scale up sustainable finance and channel capital to where it is needed most.
Under the theme Collaborate for Change, Shape a Shared Future, the summit hosts diverse sessions uniting global leaders to explore trends and opportunities in regional cooperation. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
Hong Kong is set to introduce its first licensed ride-hailing platforms by the 4th quarter of 2026, as the government moves to regulate the long-debated industry with a new legal framework. Kunting Yang has more details.
Transport and Logistics Secretary Mabel Chen announced the timeline after submitting the Road Traffic Amendment Ride-Hailing Service Bill 2025 to the Legislative Council for its first and second reading today. The proposed law requires all ride-hailing entities, including platforms, vehicles, and drivers, to obtain proper licensing. Under the new regime, platforms must be Hong Kong-registered companies with sufficient operational experience, financial capacity, and qualified directors. They will be responsible for vetting drivers, maintaining operational records, and submitting them to authorities. Unlicensed operations will face severe penalties, including fines of up to $1 million and 12 months imprisonment. The bill also targets illegal white plate vehicles with stricter punishments, including license suspension for up to 3 years, fines and jail time.
的士同埋網約車絕對唔係零和嘅博弈。
Chen emphasized that ride-hailing services and taxis are not a zero-sum game, but complementary. Taxis will retain exclusive privileges, like picking up passengers in prohibited zones, while ride-hailing platforms can add capacity and diversity to urban mobility. The government will control the total number of ride-hailing vehicles to prevent malicious competition and manage road capacity, according to Chen. Kunting Yang, Cable News.
Poland has shot down Russian drones that violated its airspace during an attack on Ukraine, in what is potentially a major provocation for Europe, as Poland accused Moscow of act of aggression. Anna Chen reports.
Fighter jets were scrambled early Wednesday morning in Zamosk after Russian drones incursion in Polish airspace. 4 airports were temporarily closed and reopened later, including Warsaw's Chopin Airport, the country's major air hub. Poland said it scrambled its own and NATO air defenses to shoot down at least 4 drones after 19 violations of Polish airspace overnight. Poland's military command said raiders tracked more than a dozen objects and those that could pose a threat were neutralized. It marked the first time in the Ukraine war that Warsaw has engaged assets in its airspace. Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk warned prospect of military conflict closer than at any time since Second World War. Adding Poland will invoke Article 4 of NATO to formally consult within the alliance on response to the threat. Words are not enough, he said. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky described Russian drones entering Polish airspace as another step of escalation and an extremely dangerous precedent for Europe. Anna Chen, Cable News.
Qatar condemned Israel for state terrorism and warned of uncertainty in the Gaza ceasefire talks after the deadly attack on Hamas leadership in Doha. The United States distanced itself from the action and said it was solely Israel's decision. Jamie Liu tells us more.
Latest footage showed the moment when buildings in capital Doha were struck. The explosion sent people running on the streets frantically as first responders arrived. Israel reportedly sent over 10 fighter jets to drop munitions on the targets. The Associated Press reported that the strike happened when top Hamas officials gathered to consider a U.S. ceasefire proposal. Israel quickly claimed the attack, portraying it as a peacemaking action.
On this day, as in previous days, Israel acted wholly independently, and we take full responsibility for this action. And this action can open the door to an end of the war.
Writing on social media, U.S. President Donald Trump sought to distance Washington from Israel's action, saying it was not his decision. He said the U.S. military was told about the attack in advance, so he ordered Special Envoy Steve Witkoff to warn Qatar, but it was too late.
I would tell you this, I was very unhappy about it, very unhappy about every aspect, and we got to get the hostages back. But I was very unhappy about the way that went down.
The American president had also made separate calls with Israeli and Qatari leaders. Trump assured the Emir of Qatar that similar incidents will not happen again on their soil. Qatar, a Gaza war mediator, affirmed that the country's tradition of diplomacy won't be deterred. However, it implied that current talks on Gaza have an uncertain path following Israel's action. Qatar also denied receiving prior notification of the strike. Hamas said 5 of its members and a Qatari security official were killed in the strike, criticizing Israel for having no intention to stop fighting. Jamie Liu, Cable News.
Now let's take a look at the stock markets. The Hang Seng Index ended the day up 262 points. Top active stocks of the day: Alibaba was up 90 cents, Tencent was up $6.50. Xiaomi was down $1.25. SMIC was up $2.10. Foreign exchange against the Hong Kong dollar: Canadian dollar 5.62, Australian dollar 5.14. Here are some good news for Apple fans. The tech giant has unveiled its latest lineup, headlined by the stunning iPhone Air, the thinnest and lightest iPhone ever created. Kun Ting Yang shares more.
This headline-grabbing iPhone Air, which replaces the Plus model, is merely 5.6mm thick, with a 6.5-inch display, and represents Apple's bold push toward ultra-portability without compromise. It features a powerful single 48-megapixel camera system and the new A19 Pro chip, self-built with its custom brain Apple Silicon.
iPhone Air is a total game changer. It's designed for customers who want pro performance in an unbelievably thin and light design.
Its high-end model, iPhone 17 Pro, received a significant camera update with up to 8x zoom, as well as improved cooling to address heat during gaming and video recording. The new lineup starts at $799, with pre-orders for most devices beginning this Friday. Complementing the new phones, the AirPods Pro 3 now function as a powerful translation tool.
Hello, welcome.
Using Apple Intelligence, they can translate conversations between languages in real time, effectively acting as a personal interpreter. The spotlight also shone on the Apple Watch Series 11 with expanded battery and improved health monitoring function, such as possible hypertension notifications. Quentin Yang, Cable News.
On to the weather now. Mainly cloudy, a few showers and isolated thunderstorms at first. Becoming fine tomorrow, very hot during the day. Mainly fine and persistently very hot in the following couple of days. That's our news tonight. I'm Evelyn Bai. Thanks for watching and good night.